let's go on to the org now. Okay, I think you only asked about a use case for Ad Studio.
Yep.
Remember? So there is, I was actually going through the org, so quickly I'll just cover that without wasting much further time. So one of the use case that you can actually work with, there's nothing in your org right now which is enabled. There are a couple of things, but it's not enabled for you. So it's only lead capture. There is one option. Okay, I need to enlarge it. Guys, remind me. Yeah. So there's only one option enabled for you, that is lead capture. So that is the only use case that I can think and recommend to you. So lead capture is nothing but on Facebook, for example, if you go and there's a lot of ads these days. I mean, these days ads are like, I mean, to be honest, if you think of something, the ads is there on Facebook. It's so fast, so quick. You search something somewhere now, disconnected systems, that you will find an ad related to that. Okay, so if you are going to Facebook, the classic example is Facebook, and then there are certain ads. So for example, ad is about for Salesforce Marketing Cloud webinar, for example. So if somebody fills some data around that or clicks on it based on the configuration, you can actually get that data captured directly into Marketing Cloud in a form of a data extension. So that configuration can be automated with the help of lead capture functionality, which is right now there enabled for you in this org. So this is one of the use cases that I can think of, which is very straightforward and very relatable as well. I need to have that credentials, which I don't have. It's a different type of credentials, not the normal one that we have, in order to actually show it anything to you. So I need that kind of credentials, which I don't have, unfortunately. So I cannot show you something on these lines. But as far as the use case that you asked for, this is one of the good use case that you can actually present, wherein the lead directly gets created from Facebook platform onto your Marketing Cloud in a pointed data extension of your choice. Yeah, makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, so
So, Pankaj, I also heard that basically what Ad Studio does is that it can customize the Facebook ads based on the emails you have opened, right? So if they are in the same
correct.
journey, I, I've opened an email, so I will also get an Facebook. I will when I scroll Facebook, I will also get an ad regarding the same.
Actually, that is the real use case. That is what ad advertisement name is there. This is something I'm just telling you because this was enabled, so kind of presumed that you can actually try and test it and talk about it. But that is the real one, wherein advertisement. So all the advertisement that you're doing on various channels, not even Facebook, other platforms as well, it can be channeled in a way that that the information that you have of a subscriber, for example, I'm a subscriber and I have actually I'm receiving your email, so you have my data. Now if you target me on Facebook, you will give me tailored content as per my preferences. So if I like, for example, I've opened emails for hiking, for example, and you share the content on Facebook regarding hiking, you can target me. So you know that I like hiking, those kind of targeted ads can be channeled to me on Facebook. So that kind of capability this platform has. So the more information you have about a subscriber, that is me, the more targeted those ads can be. So that is one of the use case, but on a high level I cannot show you right now because it's not enabled. So if it is enabled, or you can get it enabled by the end of the session, I can actually give you some hands-on after the training, of course, of the hooks. Let's move on. So Chandni, I'll check for that. If the email ID doesn't matches, then how the platform supports, does it support or not? I'll check that for you. Oh, just one quick thing. Remember that journey that we were trying to run, drip campaign journey yesterday?
Yep.
Remember, we didn't run in the beginning of the session yesterday, a drip campaign journey. I'll just open it and show it to you. No, not this one. So since in which we configured emails for the team, and then we were trying to say that you open it, you don't open it, like that. Yes. So you know why it was not working? A very, very simple yet obvious issue we were facing. I was the one culprit. I did configure it wrong. So I just wanted to show you because you might face it sometime. I don't know, but yeah, I'll just show you what the problem was and why it was not running as intended. If I don't find the last one, then I'll just quickly talk about the reason and just make sure you don't perform that mistake, and then we'll move further.
I guess that is the drip campaign one, Pankaj.
Yeah, I tried opening that, but I don't think so. It's a drip campaign one. See, I had actually made a mess of it. This is not a drip campaign one. So it was a drip campaign one, in which I was opening an email and you won't open that. So I'm just trying to trace that campaign. But do you remember that what was it all about?
Yes, we remember.
We're basically saying that all the 10 people in a data extension will be receiving first email based on how they, whether they open it or not, they will be led on to a different paths.
Mhm.
And again, they'll get an email. If they again open it, they'll be on different paths. So that was a journey. I'm not able to find out that journey for some reason. So I was wondering where it has gone. Anyways, the reason behind it was not working was, I mean, I was debugging it yesterday night only, why it was not working. We did a very foolish and small mistake, which was very easy, not easy to track sometimes if you are exhausted or late in the night. The data extension that I had chosen and the fields that I had chosen in that data extension were of not email type. So the email
Oh,
address that we added, remember 3, 4 email addresses, the data type
yes.
of that field was not email type, it was text. So the system was not identifying it as an email. So system was saying, okay, in the data extension, there is no email. And you're asking me to enter that contact into that journey. And I cannot identify any email address in that since, so the system was not letting any contact get into the journey. That was the problem. And actually it took some time for me to identify that, because these things are very obvious and you miss it because you have configured it, so you assume it will be there. So very foolish, but yeah, these kind of things do happen. So if you face these kind of issues, just take a fresh pair of eyes, ask somebody else to just have a run through of what you have you done if you miss some basic yet crucial step, and that will be very fast. So just take that help. Okay, that was yesterday. I will also show you. Remember, we spoke about the complementary nature of your Journey Builder and Automation Studio. Remember?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So while looking for the help text that I sent you across anyways yesterday, I came across a very good slide. I just wanted to share it and show it to you. It was good, so I liked it, so I thought I'll just quickly share it with you. That gives a good glimpse of it's a video, basically 5 6 minutes video. Just do look at that, and then you will be able to make out why it is used for and what is the difference. And actually they are complementary, to be honest. So can you see this? So this is a screenshot from the video link that I had sent you yesterday in that Google sheet, sorry, Excel sheet, which I need to convert it as a Google sheet and share it across from today onwards. So using Journey Builder and automation together. So remember I told you it's all about complementary nature. See this part, wherein the ETL part, is everybody aware what ETL is?
No.
Okay. ETL is a industry-wide term for extract, transform, and load. Extract the data from somewhere, transform it, do some slicing and dicing, filtering, whatever you want to do, and then load it somewhere else. ETL is common business term in the industry. So basically, Automation Studio is used for that, to play with data. Okay, and once you have played with data, see, you are getting data from various systems like CRM, e-commerce system in different formats, CSVs and zip files, and some are encrypted. With the help of Automation Studio, you what you do basically, you do the ETL part of it, extract it from these systems, for example, transform it the way a Journey Builder would like to see, and then put it across in a data extension, which could be an entry for a Journey Builder. And then of course you can make your journey. So that is a optimum and a best practice to make sure a journey and automation works together. Okay. Generally, you don't send emails from Automation Studio. Shouldn't. You can, of course. Nobody's stopping you, but the capability is there. But as we discussed, heavy work, heavy lifting related to data, Automation Studio, and anything related to communicating with the customer, which is more personalized and one-to-one based on their interactions, Journey Builder. And in tandem, they work like this. That's a very good example I saw. I thought I'll just quickly share it with you, and it illustrates very clearly how complementary in nature they are. Okay, make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so we will try and, at least if not create one, we'll try and merge the two. So we'll create a journey, we'll create automation, and we'll try and merge it, and we'll see how it works. So same thing, we'll try and do it. Okay, let's move on to our Journey Builder thing that we wanted to do. Let's go to Journey Builder, Automation Studio. So by now you must have understood what is Automation Studio. Automation is automating the data changing, data massaging, or ETL kind of things. That is what Automation Studio. So yesterday we did an activity. So there are multiple activities that we spoke about yesterday, if you remember. One of them was SQL that we did. Okay. By the way, quickly talking about SQL, Did everybody understood what we did yesterday in SQL, or was it nil bade sannata?
Uh,
Yes.
yes, but I
Yeah,
think we would need some practice on the SQL part.
absolutely. I mean, as I said, the more you'll practice, I mean, especially for developers, I mean, I would actually recommend you to do that practice from that public, that site that I shared, W3 Schools. It's good that you, because you are expected to actually create queries based on business, and business logics can be very complex at times. So the more handy you have, the more things you know. But for me, as I said yesterday, my part is of more of a consultant. So I make those queries, but if there's too complex a query, I go to my developer and ask their help or Google it. That's how I do it. But basically you should be aware what it, so as a consultant or anybody, you can actually read, you should be able to read the query and make sense of it. If you cannot write it, you should be able to read it. So that's at least capability should be there for everyone. So you should do that. So we did an activity which comes under automation studio of SQL type, and we created and we ran it. Remember, we got it from a data extension and inserted it in a different data extension. Remember? So that was we did yesterday, SQL based on SQL query, which is totally a developer's point of view, but marketers don't know SQL, so they don't want to do it too much, to be honest. So this is more of a technical side of things. So today what we are planning to do is first is data views. Okay, so what is data views? Data views are system tables, and system tables in which the data is of more technical data. For example, job ID, and there is a lot of technical system related data which is inside Salesforce Marketing Cloud, which as a user you don't get to see. So if you there's a requirement to actually extract that kind of data, then you have to query data views. Data views are nothing but system tables in which this system automatically stores the data. Okay, and if that data is already there in those tables, what you need to do is you need to extract it from that data and put it into a data extension if you want to see. So that is what we are going to do today, views, data views. Okay, and we will be using the same SQL query activity to do that. So I'll just quickly give you an example, then we'll do that again. So simple query test click. Okay, this is the one that I had actually done it to show you. So okay, I'll just quickly write it as well, data views cloud. So these system tables can be of various types depending on what kind of data you're looking at. So if you go down on the left hand side, see these are the various kind of tables in which the data is stored, and some of the data is too technical for me, even me to understand in terms of since we don't never use it, I never bother actually extracting that data. But some of them are pretty straightforward, like you want bounce related details, you want click related details. For last 6 months, it will actually try and fetch the data from journeys and automations. Uh, any related to coupons, complaints, these are all inbuilt system. Nobody has created it. But what our responsibility as a part of this tutorial, this session, is to extract the data from one of these tables and put it in a data extension which can be used further, reporting and analyzing and whatever you want your use case to be. So let's say we'll use this data view click. Okay, so from all the, you want to capture all the clicks in your automation studio. Okay, that this table has that data. Now you need to extract it with the help of what activity? SQL query activity in automation studio. So this is what I have done. I will just show you. This is how, what does it mean? Quick check. What does it mean? This query.
Select
Select all.
all from click
All
table.
data.
Yes, correct. Right now I've mentioned this asterisk. Had it been some specific columns that I would have required, I would have mentioned those column names. That's it. So that is a simple query that I have written to extract the data. And the creativity is up to you guys now, that if you want to use SQL in more creative ways, of course you can use it, and then sorry, then you can use it.
Pankaj,
So mhm.
what was the underscore defined before the click?
So this
Just
is
the name.
this name of the table. That's it. Nothing syntax wise. This is how you call this table, which is system table. That's it. Nothing to do with the syntax and all. Okay. Like customer data table name. This name is underscore click. If you go over here, it will be underscore bounce. This table name. So that's a name, system table name, nothing else. Okay. And then what I'm doing is I'm actually putting it in a target data extension, if you can see. So I've created a data extension and I'm appending it. That is what we have done with this existing query, and we'll try and do it for another one.
Pankaj,
Okay.
can you zoom your screen a little bit?
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah. So I'm extracting it from system table, all the data, and putting it in target data extension. This data extension has been created by me. I have created this data extension because you have to map the fields or the columns, not fields, the columns of the this table, click table, as well as this one. So I have first manually created this data extension, all the columns that are similar to this one, even the data types and everything, and then I can perform this action. So I'll just quickly show you. If I click over here, the help desk gives you, by the way, I was not aware of all these fields. These are system fields. I had to go through this help text, hence I'm taking it through you. So you need not to be hard thing saying that I need to remember. No, not required. It's just technical things. If somebody is looking in that kind of granularity, then only it's required. So nobody remembers those fields. Hence, I'm actually referencing you these names. This is the kind of table structure which is existing under the click system table. So I need to create the similar structure onto the data extension, target data extension. Then only we can transfer the data. Otherwise, it will throw error. So that is what I have done over here. I've created this data extension which matches all the column structure and everything, attribute level details with the click one, and then I simply use the SQL query to send the data from one table to other. That's it. So if I click over here on activity level, I'll get a log as well. So see, all these activities I have already done. In fact, all of them were failing because of, see, what was happening was the table that I had created, first initially it was not matching, and then when it matched, it was saying that data will get truncated. So I had to increase the size of, let's say, 250 characters, like that, in order to actually accommodate all the data. So that's why it was failing all the time when I tried running it first time. And I'll quickly give you a glimpse of what it looks like in that particular data extension, the data, which is, to be honest, for me, it's kind of gibberish because it's too much technical data until somebody wants it. But since it was a part of tutorial, I thought it would be prudent of me to cover it so that you are aware this is the place where if you require that kind of data, you can go over there. So see, when I exported it with that SQL query activity, around 2000 records were actually stored in this, and the data looks something like this. See, account ID, job ID, list ID, batch, subscriber ID, all the data has been imported into this data extension. Some of them even I don't know what the meaning is, to be honest. It gets too technical in terms of the fields, but you got the idea. This is what I'm trying to say. With the help of data views, you can extract the system related data which might not be available at a user level in standard reports and etc, etc. Okay, understood the concept of it?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do this exercise together so that you are aware, and it will be a kind of a exercise for SQL query activity as well for you guys. So let's go on. I will go to automation. Okay, let me go to activities only. We'll create another SQL query activity. Oops, I'm actually at automation. So I'm selecting SQL query type. Where is SQL? Where is SQL? Yes, SQL. Let me select bounce, different one. Make sense?
Makes sense.
We did it. We did it for click. Let me try with bounce. Yeah. Don't hold me accountable if it doesn't work in the first time. Yeah. Okay. So now I need to write that query. Help me. What should I write? I only want a couple of columns, not all the columns. Otherwise, I have to create the whole data structure in the data extension. So I'll write select,
The column
And the
names.
column names,
and over here I'll go to the bounce. So
Account ID, job
we'll
ID,
select 3 or 4 standard column names. That's it. So, like, for example, account ID. So we will use
job
this
list ID,
account
Job
ID.
ID.
What is it? Job ID, list ID, subscriber ID. What else is
And
there?
can we
Subscriber ID.
have
Let's
can we have the emails which were bounced?
yes, we should have that. Where is email? Email, bounce category, bounce ID. Is there any email? There's no email. Strange. Should be email, no?
Yep. A domain would work.
Where is domain?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. From ULC.
underscore.
Hopefully this is the underscore bounce. Let me just double check if that is yes, bounce data view, correct. So now let me validate this query. Yes,
semicolon. Yes.
simple one. Semicolon in this case, you can actually get away with that. But in SQL, if you're doing it on another platform, you have to put that. But over here, it's okay. Let me see if we put it what it says. Will it say no? Yes,
No.
it won't allow actually. So yes. But as a part of standard SQL, if you do it outside of Marketing Cloud in general SQL, it will ask you to put colon. So okay. Now I need to configure my data extension accordingly. So let me go to data extension, create a new one. Name, this is for data view bounds. Okay, then description, then types, that is okay. Sendable, testable, next. Right now I'm mention policy, I'm leaving it. Okay, now it comes to the key part. I have to create account ID. Account ID, integer, number. Okay, it is number, and it was required, isn't it? See, this is very confusing to me. I mean, I take some time to actually understand nullable. Yes, it can be nullable. Rest all is non-nullable. So basically, it's required kind of. So I find it very actually confusing sometimes. Okay, then we got job ID, correct?
Yep.
We got job ID. Job ID is of number again, and is it nullable? Okay, help me out. I'm getting confused. So nullable cross means okay, but anyways, right now it's
Not
least of
null.
our concern. Yes, it should be actually these are non-nullable, correct? So it becomes negative. So to understand, list ID was there, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
List
Yes.
ID was there. List ID again, number type. Then what else is there? We had back subscriber ID and key were there, correct? No.
No,
Any
domain is
idea?
Domain.
there. Domain is there.
Okay, I'll select subscriber ID is ID number, correct. Domain I'll select. What about subscriber key was there? Domain is text, has to be text. Okay.
Okay.
Subscriber key was there, ID was not there.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yes.
Uh, Now there's a problem. I need to, my bad. I should have actually mentioned the length. Why it's not allowing me to actually put the length now? Is it because numbers are, I was just wondering. Let me see. Okay, number it's something like, okay. By default, this length to it. Okay, this was subscriber key. Sunny said subscriber key has to be text, correct? So let me put it 250 for all of them, just in case, because I was facing a lot of error yesterday. Is that it? Anything else? Let me go back
Yes.
to my query and just validate it and close this. So account ID, job ID, account ID, job ID, subscriber key, list
Yeah.
ID. List ID is not required actually.
And
Then
only domain.
domain, yes, test I'll remove. Okay, so I think we are good. Let me complete it. Oops, damn.
Length
I had
is
actually
big.
length. I made it 250. I don't know why it became. Let's see.
Minute.
So
Controlling.
data. Where is my data view? Bounce. Data view bounce. Okay, I'll point it to over here. Once I move to next, now I'm in SQL query activity. Okay, I need to point it to that relevant data extension. Where is my data extension? Bounce. And I want to, let's say, update it. Okay. Now this is summary. I'll finish it. So I've created this SQL. What has happened? Error saving the query field. The target data extension map is one primary key. Okay, makes sense. Now can I make it first of all? Account
Yeah.
No.
ID. Arey yaar. That I, and then probably it will throw error. Let me see if I can copy it and then can I make it? I don't think so. Let me try. Guys, I have to just do it again. Just be with me, huh? These are
Once you
all
delete a,
small.
hey
Sorry.
Pankaj, once you delete a column and add another columns.
Let's see that. You want to try that? Create attribute. Oh, what you're recommending is create a blank dummy column and make it as primary. That's what you're recommending. Yeah, makes sense actually. Good idea. And number, but it's not showing anything. It's not allowing me to make a primary key actually. No, doesn't work. So it seems I have to the heavy heart actually delete it. What I'll do is I'll just get some less columns this time, only one or two columns. Okay, so it will be faster for us. So we don't have to
Yeah.
waste time away. Guys, I mean, this is the real learning once you do it in the system. If I would have
Yes.
given the ज्ञान कि ऐसा ऐसा कर लो हो जाएगा, the one that I had created earlier, ये सब issues you would have faced probably. So data view bounds, I will delete that one. Hence, I'm saying don't take anything on my face value. Please try it at your place, then only come to a conclusion. Okay, quickly, this is bounds. Bounds data view, then sendable, testable, next, next. Let's say BSCRI subscriber key we take. Okay, let's make it required. Text, we'll make it 250, and then we'll have one more. What is the one more? Tell me.
Domain.
Account ID, domain. Oh yeah, correct. Domain is important. We'll take domain. AIN domain. This is text. Let me make it 500. Okay, just to be sure.
Prim,
That's it. No, we'll save it.
prim,
Sorry.
Primary key.
Oh, sorry. I thought in my mind I marked it as primary key. Okay, so subscriber key and domain. I'll make a query change over here. Subscriber key. I'll remove this. Remove this. Subscriber key and domain from bounds. Okay. Next. Now my target data extension is, was it this one? Field count 4. No, it has changed now
There's a
because,
copy.
yeah, bounds data view. Two fields count. So there are two fields. Correct. This one. This is the new one. And I'll finish it. Good. So it got created. At least technically, I have created it. So where was I? Where did I create it? I thought it was supposed to be under SQL query, my query. Yes, correct. So this is the query. So what I've done is I've created a query. Okay, data view query over here. Now I can either remember, if you remember yesterday I had shown it. You can run it from here once, or I'll create an automation on top of it. So you'll get to know what I'm trying to do. So I'll just go to an automation studio overview, new automation over here. I'll put it as a schedule, configure it quickly, start time today. What is the date today? 26 is it? And then what is the time? 11. First of all, I need to do this. And then what time? 11. Let's put it at 11 and then run once. Done it. So I've created a schedule. I'll save it quickly. Bounce data view demo, and I'll save it over here into my folder. I'll save it. Just don't mind, guys, I'm thinking aloud. Yeah, so this is what is going in my mind. So then we have our, what is the
Yeah.
query? SQL query. Where is the SQL query? This is, I'll drag it over here. By the way, I tried looking for a best practice in terms of number of activities that you can align. I couldn't find, to be honest, that what is the maximum number that should go as a system best practice. I couldn't get it. So Pankaj Bounce view data, I think this is the one this we just created, correct? Yes, this is the one, correct. So I'll choose this one in this one. I'll save it again. Again, remember, I can do two things. I can run it once, or I can automate it at 11 p.m. my time. Okay. In fact, it should be 10. But anyways, so let me do that run once. And in the meantime, I'm just holding my prayers so I don't get embarrassed. It should run. Okay. So fingers crossed. It started running. So if you wanted to see, you can go on the right hand side activity and just refresh it once. Might be a bit slow. I'll just wait for a minute because sometimes it takes a couple of seconds to reflect whether it's already running in the background or not. And sometimes it happens faster. So I'll wait for 5-10 seconds. If it doesn't appear, I'll again run it. No, I don't think so. So I'll just quickly run once, select all activities. In this case, it is only one activity, so that is okay. Can you get anything from this error? Everybody, this is a Salesforce error, Marketing Cloud error.
I think it's a colliding with another query. That's why the query is not running.
Probably because I know that I had run it twice. So probably that is the reason, but it doesn't tell you anything. That's my point. So sometimes the errors are too generic, not user friendly in order to actually help you navigating. They don't. It's not running actually. Let me try and make it. It is 10:2. Let me make it 10:3
3.
and save it fast. And just see, something is colliding. Shouldn't be the problem here. I don't know why it's activate.
Can you just go and see the query once and validate it again and save it?
Query was anyways fine because the validation issue was in query. It would have highlighted it over there. I'll go and have a look again based on your thing, but it's just that it was already authenticated initially. See, validate syntax. So syntax wise query is fine. It's something to do with the automation. It's reflecting, and most probably the automation has started running in the background for the first time itself. It's just that it's not showing for some reason. See, told you that it's
Yeah.
running. So that's why it
Yeah.
was not allowing me to do it again. And it takes some time to reflect. Sometimes it comes faster, sometimes it takes time. But in the enterprise scenario, in the real life use case, you won't face these issues because you're not supposed to run those journeys directly now. It's generally scheduled, okay, at certain point in time. They don't start instantaneously generally. Like Labor Day scenario, you put that automation to begin at 12 o'clock in the night, it gives you data and then journey sends it like that. So you won't face this issue in any other scenario. But for testing and all those demo purposes, we are facing it. Otherwise, enterprise level, you don't. And again, good use case for another training BU or sandbox BU in which you can do all these kind of rough work. It might take some time in the background. Let me go to that data extension and see by any chance something has come, because there would be numerous records, thousands. So anyways, it will take some time, but yeah, fingers crossed. In the meantime, we'll continue our commentary parallelly. So this was about data view on SQL side, SQL activity on Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Now let me take a pause and put a question to you. Has anybody used this, or anybody thought that it might be useful with these fields for the customer? I'll just put that field again, these fields. Will these fields be useful to you in your real life examples, or has anybody used it? Might be.
Um, I think the job ID and the domain might be useful to see where the emails are bouncing back from, or which domains the emails are bouncing back,
Mhm.
and
But
the
have
job
you have
ID.
you have you also gone through the standard reports from Salesforce Marketing Cloud?
Yes.
And because the reports are not good, they're just
No, no,
summary.
it's very confusing.
Yeah, and summary, and
You
it's
will,
on some summary level. It doesn't
yeah,
give you any details. It's like last 30 days, how many emails have been sent, like that. So it's on a
it just
summary
gives you
basis.
an activity rather than giving individual campaign sends or automation sends.
Yes.
It
So
gives
that
you,
is why
yeah.
it,
So
it
what happens is generally, but there are multiple ways to extract it. There is a way to extract via campaign as well.
Mhm.
Uh, I think it's individual campaign sends that you have to pull out. But yeah, some even then we need to spend some time in kind of making it uh, easily understandable.
Yes.
Otherwise, if someone that's not been working in the system won't be able to understand it.
So we will cover that as a part of our analytics builder. So we have that enabled. So we'll go through those reports as well. But then reports are gives you a snapshot. It's just a user level report. But if you want technical reports like the one you mentioned about job IDs, domains, and etc., then you have to rely on these queries to give you results. And by the way, these are standard use cases across the world. So Google it and you'll find a SQL query. Don't get stuck because of SQL queries. How do I write SQL query to get that? In the meantime, our thing has failed, and it says that violation of primary key constraints. So it seems there was a primary key of something which we haven't made it. So I think we missed a field. It seems. Any guesses? Because my guess as of now is as good as yours, because we are on the same page. We have done it. Let's see if there is any primary key mentioned over here.
Count ID, batch
They haven't
ID.
mentioned any primary key.
Yes.
No, it's not. There's nothing as a word of primary over here. So that is not the case, at least. I think we are missing something. Okay. I think shouldn't is it about being making required and all of them, is it? Because it's not. So these fields, for example, account ID, they cannot be nullable. So it has to be required. That kind of thing. So same as the case with subscriber ID. Let me just try and make a quick change if possible in these properties. And so this is subscriber key. This is primary. Let me do this required. Save. I don't know whether it will work or not. So in the interest of time, I'm doing something. In case something you want to highlight, just let me know. I'm just doing it once again. Now another easier way of actually doing it is create all the fields in that data extension, all of them, what, around 15 of them, and then mark it accordingly. So these can be nullable, all are else are required. Okay, so you can mark it. So that's what I did in this previous example. If you remember the one that I showed you, I'll just quickly go to that. You guys are following me?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So automation studio, where is my query? I wanted to see data extensions, not automation studio, that particular data. So there's other ways of doing that. If it doesn't work this time, I'll park it for now and move forward. you can try it. I'll put it as an assignment. You can try it, and I'll also try and figure out if I am missing something. But it has to be a very basic mistake. That's it. There's no technical complexity around it, to be honest. That I'm pretty sure you must have got it. And there's nothing technical around it. It's just that we need to create the table structure in a way that it aligns with the data view. That's it. So data view, this is the one. So see, I've created nullable. I've marked all of them the way it was required in over there in that table list wala data view. Sorry for click. So hence it will take some time. If it doesn't work this time, again it has error. It seems same error. Yes, that's okay. So we'll park it for now. I'll make it a note that I'll figure it out and let you know. But this is a very basic mistake. It would be if it is for your creation of data extension. That's it. There's nothing to do with anything related to automation. But you got the point, yeah? I'll just make a note of it.
Yeah. So yes, we will also try this on our end to see where the error is throwing.
Yes, but you understood the error. The error is clear cut. We are making some primary key
Data
constraint issue. That's it. So we are missing one places where we need to create it as a primary key. We are not doing it. Probably one of the fields in those bounce wala thing has to be there in that table,
I
and we are
think the
missing that. So
subscriber ID might be the primary key.
but it doesn't say. That is what I was trying to find out. Subscriber ID, you said no.
Yeah. The
That is
job
what.
ID is already unique because that relates to the email, right? So that will already be unique and it is generated by the system. So the
Hmm.
subscriber key or ID must both of them, one of them must be unique, right?
Could be. It doesn't say. Uh, I mean, you're saying in general. In general, you're saying.
Yeah, right. Subscriber key and subscriber ID are the user, uh, are the part of the data which the user sends to SFMC, right? So one of this
Yes.
needs to be the primary key, right?
Not only key, not ID. ID
Yeah.
is system generated.
So key, yes, I think the key needs to be primary key. But never mind, we
I
can figure it out.
think, yeah. I mean, but you understood the logic behind every these things. I mean, it just if I create it properly, the data will swiftly, just like butter but makhan ki tarah, the data will go across. That's not an issue. And anyways, I showed you into this wala thing. So I've created everything, and there's a records that came in. So something like that data will anyways again pop up in your bounce wala thing. Okay, so I'll just make a note of it. Just one more thing before we move on to our FTP thing. Uh, do you guys have thought of what is your KRA after this training session, 3.5 week of training session? If you haven't, as a recommendation, I would like to see as a trainer, I would like to you to think about it. What have you gained after 3 weeks of training, 3.5 weeks of training, around 35, 36 hours that you have spent? What should be your aim after that? If you haven't given a thought, please give it a thought. So one of the KRAs, one of the metrics could be, for example, clearing certifications. I'm just giving an example. In case
Sure.
you want, let's say there's a project that there's a marketing cloud project internally going on. You want to contribute, you want to start working on that. So you have enough capabilities. That could be a KRA that, okay, after completion of this project and my use cases and my practice, I want to work in that project, which is marketing cloud wala project. That could be another KRA. Okay, so try and think of this, because otherwise if you don't, things that are measured things are the things that get done. Okay, if you don't measure your productivity or measure your hours in a day that you are spending on something, it won't be utilized. So try and do that. Try and measure number of hours that you spend on, let's say 2 hours of training every day. It's a sizable chunk. So how it should help you actually in future. If that is not the case, then probably after some time this 36 hours of worth of your effort, your time, which is precious, will go in vain. So try and think what should be your outcome after this training. Okay, I'll give you some pointers. Think of it. Otherwise, if you don't work on marketing cloud after this, you'll forget it. So please do that. Okay, let's move on to the next one. FTP, file transfer activity within Automation Studio. So what does file transfer does? So as the name suggests, it basically takes the file from one location, puts it onto a different location. These locations are generally FTP. What is an FTP? FTP is file transfer protocol. So basically it's a server somewhere outside. It's a location, just like Google Drive, for example. Just giving you a corresponding answer example to just visualize it. Google Drive. So now you don't tend to store big anything above 5 MB in Marketing Cloud.
Yes, Pankaj, I just wanted to ask you that what are the steps you need to take care of, or best practices you need to follow while creating an automation activity?
Yes. So, I mean, again, couple of things I told you. Don't couple of things we probably briefly touched upon. Always try and make sure you have segregated activities. Never, I have seen in your automation studio, there are a lot of activities which are serially aligned. So I'll just quickly show that. Actually, I was on automation studio only. So yeah. So one of the key thing is segregate the data. Don't make an automation do a lot of things at once. Okay, so like for example, if you're slicing the data and you're inserting into a data extension, these are different steps. So one automation should take care of cutting the data and putting into another data extension. Another one should take care of a filtering of it. So do not align too many activities into one automation studio. Okay, so basically there's no number saying 10 crore ki 20 crore, but try and make it as segregated functionally as possible so that it's readable at the end, is somebody can comprehend what it means. So like these workflow activities, so try and make it, for example, query, try and make it do the query first, store the data somewhere, and then again extract the data and do it somewhere else. If it is a big long chain, which I have seen in your this org, there are a lot of them, like there are like more than 20 activities at one line. So is it really required in that case? Probably not, probably yes, but in that you have to
Okay,
think. But this is one of the, yeah.
okay, Pankaj, so what if the client has a very complex use case, right? And before starting of the journey, it requires a lot of segregation. Like we need to filter the data from a D, store it into another one, and only take part of that data. So and it requires multiple automations on our end. So how will we say, manage that? Because you just said that that the activity should be divided into different automations. So
So
how to make
basically what I'm trying to, so again, as I said, it could be a case, it could not be a case. So in your case, for example, let's say you first step you want to do filter. Okay. Second step you want to do, let's say, what do you say? Uh, Based on certain, not filter. What is the first thing that you said? It just went off my mind. Second thing you said filtering of data. First thing was let's say slicing, dicing of data of some form. Okay. SQL query, extracting the data from data view, for example, and then storing it in some data extension and doing some other activity on top of filtering, probably, for example, and then sending it to the customer, for example, for journey. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm not trying to say create different multiple automations. I'm not, absolutely not trying to say for these activities. But if the activities are too long to be completed in one automation, then there could be a logical break. That is what I'm recommending. So I just wanted to show you a couple of automations. I felt personally they were too long in an automation, but you can correct me. It might be absolutely fine based on the customer requirement. So let me see if there is one like 26 more, for example. I haven't gone through in detail of what it does. Anniversary weekdays, apart from the fact it tells you, but there are too many activities. If you see, might be relevant ones. I'm not sure. 30 of them, but I don't know. So if you see, I don't know if you have created this one. 30 activities you are doing in one automation. Probably a use case, okay. But I mean, just think it over. That is what I'm recommending. There's no hard and fast. As I said, इतनी activities ही लगाओ, 20 ही लगाओ और 25 लगाओ, नहीं. To be honest, I didn't get a number. I tried asking and googling. मुझे ऐसा number नहीं मिला. Best practice में use this only. So I don't have a number. But think over. That's what I'm saying. I'm not recommending you कि उसको मल्टीपल ऑटोमेशन में करो या उसमें करो, बट हाँ सेग्रीगेट कर सकते हैं. इफ देयर आर लॉट ऑफ एक्टिविटीज इन विच यू आर डूइंग, फॉर एग्जांपल डेटा व्यू निकाल के स्टोर कर रहे हो, फॉर एग्जांपल लॉट ऑफ एक्टिविटीज, 10 डिफरेंट डेटा व्यू से निकाल के डेटा लेके आ रहे हो और एक्सटेंशंस में डाल रहे हो, फॉर एग्जांपल you can think of creating one automation based on that. Okay, and then utilizing it next steps. And another automation can be of, for example, क्या कर रहे थे, filtering कर रहे थे, for example. So you do that SQL data SQL activities for data views in one of the automations which takes care of it, and then put it in a data extension. Another automation picks it from there and does some data filtering and puts it in an automation extension which could be utilized by journey. FTP we spoke about. So since Chintan was there, I thought I'll bounce out this idea with him. So let's go. Okay, so why do we use FTP first of all? So talking about that, and probably I lost my way around. So what is FTP? File transfer protocol. It's a protocol with the help of which you actually access data which is residing on some other server. Okay, and why do we use that? Since I told you Salesforce is not a place to store data, so if you are having files which are in more than the size of 5 MB, then you should use an FTP server to actually transact on it. So of course, the files, considering the subscriber numbers that you have, hundreds and thousands of it, millions of records, the numbers were very easily run from more than 5 MB. Okay, and so in that case, you have to use FTP. So what do you do? Basically, how it works is a process in FTP. So there's a server set, and there is a thing called third-party software. So I'll just give you a glimpse of it. So this is one of the third-party servers, which is called FileZilla. I'm not sure whether you have heard of it or not, but with the help of this, I can connect to a FTP server. Okay, you can see that basically I'm trying to connect to a FTP server. So just to give you a visualization of it, so on the left hand side, if you see, this is my directory. Okay, so basically my computer, and on the right hand side, this is that FTP server on which there are different folders created as export, import, triggered automations. Okay, this is, by the way, for an instance of Salesforce only, Marketing Cloud, not the one that we have, but just wanted to show you. So this is the one, and I've connected to it via a third-party utility called FileZilla. Now what I can do is I can just pick this file, drag it from this side to this side. Just drag it, and it will work like this. So the files will go and decide over here. That's it. So it's as simple as that. Okay. So that's how I actually put the files in import. And once I put it in this import folder, for example, it's actually residing on Salesforce Marketing Cloud's FTP server. Now you can go in Automation Studio and pick this file. And that's the process we are going to see now with the help of Automation Studio, how we can pick this file. Let's say, for example, pankaj.csv, which is kept over there, or pankaj.zip, which is kept over here. It's on the FTP server for Salesforce. It's kept over there. How I can pick it, unzip it if it is zipped, or simply a CSV file, and do some work on it. Okay, let's do that. This is still crying. So I'll go on creating a new automation. Before that, let me go in an activity and create an activity. Then I'll create an automation on top of it. I can take either way. So I'll select on the left hand side file transfer. Okay. So these are the two ones that I had actually already created. I'll show you, and then we'll start go on creating it again. By the way, is everybody with me till now? FTP, Funda, what it is and why do we do that? Yeah.
Yes.
Because Salesforce doesn't work. 5 MB file, that's it, ceiling hit. Now moving ahead, you have to actually have use FTP, and 5 MB is very less, so you have to use FTP. Do you guys use FTP, by the way? I mean, out of curiosity, because I thought you should be using FTP all activities. No? Yes.
Yes,
Uh,
our clients have set up an automation on their end. So like every day 8 a.m. their time, the automation runs, the data gets uploaded. So we don't have to really look into that part.
Okay, so now that once you get a glimpse of it, just go and look into that activity that they have configured, so that you can also understand what they are trying to do and how they are trying to do. So once you have a insight into this, okay. So again, this is already, I had created it yesterday for the speediness, but I'll do it again in front of you because this is important. So see, this is the name, properties, and everything. See, what I have done is over here, it can be done in a way that it keeps on listening to a particular format, regular expression. So if the file, generally the files which are saved at FTP are via manually you put it, generally not manually, somebody actually with APIs you dump it into the FTP. Okay, and then your automation will keep on listening to that. Okay, and they are of a certain format, generally of a regular expression. For example, email bounce, today's date 2609 dot zip dot csv, like that. So generally the format is like that. So you can create a regular expression in the system saying that email monks asterisk year date dot zip. So basically any file which matches with this criteria, it will pick. The system will listen to that. So that is what we are trying to say. File, find any file which is of this format in that FTP server. Okay, and then uncompress it. That was the action I chose. It was a zip file, so you can uncompress that file and do any action after that on it you want. So let's go and actually do that in action. It's already 10:30. I didn't realize it today. Okay, create activity, file transfer. So in a nutshell, getting files from external systems into Salesforce Marketing Cloud, or sending it outside as well. Either ways it could be used. Okay, so this was about, okay, file transfer, FTP import. Okay, there are two options over here. Just to quick description. So manage files. Basically, we will be going through this because this is something which is not configured, so I cannot show it to you. But for your understanding, manage file is for unzipping. Generally, the data comes in a zip format or on a encrypted format. Okay, generally that's how it works. If because data that the Excel is are huge in records. So if you want to actually unzip it or decrypt it, that is the first option. Second one is a safe house. Safe house is a place, it's a marketing cloud place, and you need to get it enabled with the help of your Salesforce AE to get it. But it's basically a secure location for your data. Okay, and not many people have access to it, and it's accessed via secure key and everything. There are a lot of process in order to access this. So basically, it's a safe house, as the name suggests, for the data. So if you are opting for that, you can use it as well. More secure transactions, like for anything, any financial services company, you might want to use a safe house, depending on the use case. But financial services is the use case that comes to my mind if I talk about safe house. So your data is actually stored in a very secure location. So for now, for our purposes, we'll choose manage file. Okay, so this is the pattern that I need to match up with. So I can write, as I said, email monks, for example, date. So it was, this is the one of the formats, and Excels are generally stored like this, in either in versions or everyday basis. That's how they're stored. So everyday data gets uploaded into your FTP server. So let's say we'll put only day, for example, dot zip file. Okay, so we are listening to anything on the FTP server by the name email monks day, today's day. Okay, whatever the date is, like for example, it's 26 today. So anything, it will come to email monks 26.zip. Understood? Then this is something file locations. We are doing import. This is something again backend configuration, which I can't show you right now, but once I get access, probably if not in a day or two, I have made a note of it. I'll show you at the end of the sessions, when we have some couple of miscellaneous sessions. So I have kept it for some buffer reasons. So I'll try and show it to you, but for now let's just concentrate on import. What do you want to do? Unzip the compressed file, because it was a zip file. Then these are other couple of nuances to it if you want to. So basically, if it says that if there is no data, what do we do? If it is older than the previous file, what do I do? Like escape if last transferred occurred less than following number of hours. So if the data, the last transfer, the file that came, let's say only a couple of hours back, skip it. Don't do this. So basically, it's trying to make it intelligent to say if the data came just now, you do it or you don't do it. All those kind of configurations, if you want, you can do that. This is the final bit. So FTP, this is the one I've created, activity. Okay, so let me see. So now what do? Is I go back to automation and create an automation on top of it. This is pretty straightforward, same process that I have done it in the past. I'm doing it. Okay, just to configure it. Okay, bye bye. So what's the time? 10:30. Let me put 11 for now. Anyways, I'm not going to use this, but I have to configure it. Save. This is for your FTP import, unzip, import and unzip. So this is done. I'll quickly save it and then use that particular activity over here. So the activity which I need to drag over here is this one. This is the one that I created. And then I'll save it. Okay, so this is the automation that I have created around FTP import. Okay, so let me, instead of waiting for 11 p.m., I will try and run it. Okay, make sense? Is everybody with me till now?
Yes, Pankaj, we are.
So I've clicked on run once. Okay, I need to select that and run. So you can, I mean, this is another way of, do not run these activities. If there are more than one activities, then basically you can also list some of the activities which you don't want to run. Because anyways, this is kind of testing you're doing by running. So run now. Yes.
Commission error.
So that means, okay, did I click twice? Is it? Yes,
Yeah.
it has started. The problem was twice that I clicked on it. by mistake. So now it's running, and I've kept my fingers crossed over here. Oh yes, it won't run. It will throw an error. My bad. What I haven't done is I need to put a file over here. So let me, can I rename it over here? Yes. So I need to rename. Let me rename it from here only. Can I rename? Yes. So today, what was email monks? Remember that was the name, no? Email monks
Mhm.
26. Or it's not allowing me, is it? Or disconnected? Okay. Yeah, it's happening slowly. Renaming import email monks 26. I just need to be sure of the spelling. I'm not sure, but you can see what I have. The spelling is by going into activities. Just make sure the naming convention is correct, because that's what it's going to hear from file transfer. Come on. Email monks, that is correct. Day 26 should be okay. I think file name should be okay. You understood, no? We have put this file via an API or manually in this case onto their directory of import. And from there on, Salesforce is actually, with the help of that automation, it's reading this, unzipping it, okay, and it will be creating the same thing over here. So where is my automation? I think it ran into some kind of errors. Let's sign. File not found. Okay. Let me, hopefully this time again, if I rerun, it should work, because last time we were a bit late in naming the file. So run once again, select all, run. So first time it errored. Hopefully second time it will go through and create unzip a file and create it in that same FTP folder. In the meantime, since it is running, uh, so in a nutshell, that was I wanted to talk about FTP. One of the other example, I cannot give it to you as assignment, but I'll also try and do it from my side so that I can show it. Another one I wanted to talk about was export. So now you have imported it. You've got the file from an API into your location over here. This is your location, your FTP server, Salesforce Marketing Cloud, and you are unzipping it. What about exporting it? So from here, the data should go out. So you need to export and put the data into this folder, and from here on, this export folder, somebody else, other external system will listen from here and extract that data. So that I wanted to actually quickly, not today, but I wanted to do it back on my side and do it and show it to you once it is done, instead of doing it, because again it errored. Okay, so let's make it more simple. So what is happening is something in that regular expression it's not able to read. So what I'll do is, for the sake of simplicity, I'll make it absolute. So what I'll do is I'll rename and make it the same, just the same name. Okay, so you'll get to know the concept. Understood what changes I'm planning to make? I'm
Yeah,
making the
you're
file absolute name, the exact name of the file. Okay, so FTP import, I'll go back to my FTP import and unzip automation activity, and then save it. We'll just check that changes have been reflected in this activity or not, and then run it again. Once and after we have FTP, probably we can go it a bit more of detail, but it will be more of a kind of gyan only, because these are how, this is the things how it is and how it has been implemented. So that is what I wanted to talk about FTP in general. Once this automation runs, my activities that I planned for today would be more or less complete. Uh, okay, we wanted to see journey as well in the beginning of it, so we'll go and try and see if we can get that journey going for us, since we have some time. And this is taking ages to load. So from now on, you guys are automation and journey builder experts. You can play around with that. That I have done. I think it reflects. Let me save it and run it again. So these two components, FTP, Journey Builder as well as Automation Studio, are the core of marketing cloud activities. Email Studio is there, but in Email Studio, you don't use Email Studio for sending emails. You use it for creating the content. That's it. You don't use it for sending emails. So this is Automation Studio, and to be precise, Journey Builders is the place where you actually interact with your customers or subscribers on various platforms. So Journey Builder is the key, and as I said, I showed you a diagram in the beginning of how the complementary nature of both the studios is. Okay, Automation Studio and Journey Builder, how it works together in order to give a great experience to the client. So try and utilize from that aspect. I mean, you were talking about some best practices. So this is again a pop up in my mind, wherein if you can try and use Journey Builder and Automation Studio in tandem, if you feel there is a right fit. But when there is the right fit would be, for example, you do a lot of data activities and sending emails, leave it to Journey Builder. Until you want to do birthday email for like hundreds of people at once, no change, nothing. So if that is the case, then it's okay. Otherwise, try and use it in tandem. File not found matching pattern. I thought this time I did it everything. Uh, Email box of zip, and inside this is the file which is existing. Okay, I think I know what the problem. Okay, the same kind of file. Name matches even what why it's not able to get that file. It's trying to figure it out. Let me delete. You know what the issue is? Anybody?
No,
No.
no.
Now I know that. This is
Reconfigure it.
email
Your
box as Salesforce Marketing Cloud instance, and this is pointing to something else which I wanted to show you. Okay, so it will never work. These two are two different locations. So my bad for creating that confusion, but I wanted to show you this file data. Hence, I actually got it open for you, pointing it to some other marketing cloud instance, not at all email
Okay.
bounce wala. So this is email bounce. So of course, since I don't have access to that FTP, I cannot get a file by this name.
Mhm.
So it will
and
never work
we
in our
can't get a
case.
file from your FTP. So
Yes. So it will, this automation will never work until you can actually ask somebody to put it right now, and we can see that result. If somebody has access to FTP, this location, they can put a file and we can see the results instantaneously. So what we'll do is basically unzip the file. So if this was pointing towards your marketing cloud instance, it'll unzip the file by the same name and keep it over here, because that's what we asked it to do, unzip.
Yeah,
yeah,
we understand.
So I'm sorry for initially to create a confusion, but the idea was to show you how it works. So I got a bit carried away and actually got confused. So this is what the automation activity is for FTP, file transfer. One of the activities. As I said, I'll again try another activity for export. And again, I can't show it 100% of it working over here. But again, a similar activity of this type will be for export. I'll just quickly show you, because I cannot anyways show you 100% of it, but I'll show you what activities will be working for it. Since we have 10 minutes, I'll create an activity, file transfer. So export FTP, for example, that's okay, manage file, and then I'll click over here. Let's say I'll make it straight. There's nothing for, okay, so that is again a configuration thing. So there's, if you last time when I imported, I had created a file location name, selected a file location name called import. There should be an option for export here as well, and once you do that, there would be certain set of other operations in order to actually show that export to you. Got it? So basically same thing happens, you just need to configure it and show the correct path, and system will automatically read it, take it from marketing cloud and dump it in that location, from where it can be taken by third party external systems. Okay.
uh, Pankaj, can you just repeat the last sentence, please?
Okay, so what I'm saying was, right now, since the FTP access is a problem for me, so I cannot show you the full even configuration of export activity, FTP export activity. So what we did was, remember, we imported it. So somebody had kept a file over here, we have got it into Salesforce Marketing Cloud or unzipped it, let's say. But now the next use case is you want to send the data from here to outside, correct? A valid use case. So in that case, you create again the same activity, but then there would be another source file location which needs to be created by an admin. Unfortunately, I don't have access to that. I haven't created it over here. Otherwise, there would be an option to export it, and you select that option. Currently, it's import, for example. There would be an option to export it, and then you can use follow up the same guidelines or wizard to actually configure it, and then it will be exported into that FTP location. Okay, you have
Yeah.
to do in order to see that yourself. Unfortunately, I cannot show you, but I can only guide you. This is how it will work, because we don't have access to that. And if we do get it later on, I will try and show it to you. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was for today. Oh yeah, we were not able to trace that journey. Remember, initially we tried to look for it, but for some reason I was not able to locate that journey. I was like, what is this? Let me see if I can find it. I'll try and open all of them and see if I can find that. I hope I haven't.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is the one.
correct. This was yes. How come I got it the first time? This okay. So this is the test customer data. So I'll just open this data extension. Where is that test customer data? See this email. That was the issue.
Yeah.
It's simple text type, data type. It has to be of
Mhm.
email data type. So it was not letting any contact enter the journey. The journey was not working because of the data type. It has to be of email type and it wasn't the case. So hence I'm going to create a new data type extension with that particular data type and then we'll see the journey flowing. Yeah, all good?
Okay.
So in terms of ad studio, what exactly is their use case? So you wanted to have an understanding, but what is their use case? Any idea?
Yes, so basically they are in the finance sector, right? So there is the remarketing journey. So for people who have previously taken a lease, right? The lease has
Mhm.
expired and have not opted for a second lease. So we are a journey. So we are basically targeting those segments to take a new lease again from the same
Mhm.
merchant or a different merchant. So what I have planned is there will be an email, a resend,
Mhm.
and then we will target them based on ad studio, like on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram.
Correct. So basically, you in the journey itself, you'll put
Yeah.
that audience ad studio wala
Okay.
activity and then configure it. And yeah, did you
Yeah.
try googling it for this use case? Any or better journey for that? Did you try googling it?
Yes, I did some research, but
Mhm.
the client is stuck with just authorizing Facebook from his end. Since it's not in his hand, also he has to go through certain rounds of approval. So once he just
Oh,
integrates Facebook, and I will see. I also have learned that the audience only gets created once the journey gets activated. Otherwise, it will not generate the audience.
mhm. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not sure why it didn't accepted that. Okay, so there's another thing that I wanted to show you. So if you want to attach journey, all the data automations or in automation studio with a journey, this is where it begins. So if this was automated, this was you could actually directly use it. So as soon as this listens to an automation getting completed, and once it gets completed, you can continue the journey over here. So that's a bridge, one of the ways to bridge journeys with automation studio, this option. And for that particular client, do you have the org in which ad studio is configured?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat, please?
I'm saying for that particular kind ad studio, do you have access to their ad studio? As in, is
Yes.
it configured apart from Facebook wala thing? And
Yes, they have recently just put back in Ad Studio,
Mhm.
and they just want to evaluate before their Salesforce, contract comes to an end, to see that if they want to use it for next year or not. So
Oh, they
it's
haven't
like
utilized it as of now, is it?
no, they had Ad Studio in their plan, but they had not utilized it. So for a brief
Mm-hmm.
period back in the starting of 2019, it went out, and then they
Mm-hmm.
just put it back in the contract, and they are on a 3 month test period with Salesforce. So to see if they
Oh,
want it in.
so they want to test it for 3 months, and if they find it suitable to their
Yeah,
requirements, they would purchase it probably or extend it,
yeah.
whatever the
So
case
I
may be.
think their main marketing cloud is built annually, but for Ad Studio, I think they have gone with monthly basis for now.
With Salesforce pricing, I mean, it's very opaque to be honest, in the sense that only the people who are dealing with it, the account executives and all from Salesforce, and the person like Chintan in your case would be aware of it, and depends totally engagement to engagement. They can give it for free as well. You know that. they do that. So depending on how big a customer you are, how important for them you are, they do that. So the journey has started in the meantime, and it should bear some results. I've also opened my email on the sites.
Pankaj, a quick question on the journey. What
Mhm.
is? Can you elaborate the re-entry part of the journey? Like, how can it be useful during Can you just
Re-entry.
Re-entry. Yeah.
yeah.
Criteria for a re-entry.
So criteria for a re-entry is, for example, a use case would be like, so the data extension is there with 100 subscribers, okay, and you have pushed them into a journey. Now, some from external system, okay, from external systems, something changes. So, for example, the change could be like they got unsubscribed from external system, or some engagement thing changed in the midway, okay, which is very important of you to utilize in the journey. So with an unsubscription scenario, what will happen is if it gets unsubscribed, you need to make sure that it gets exited from the journey ASAP. You don't want to send any emails further to it. So in that case, you can utilize that functionality, that data is getting updated, and then do you want them to re-enter or exit or not? If it is only for example, is only for birthday emailers, you might
Mm-hmm.
want to do it once, only enter once. Or if the journey runs annually for you, then you can do it only once you are done with the journey, then only do that, like it.
Okay.
So that could be a scenario of, and do not enter anytime, or once the journey is done.
Okay. Can you show us an example of that in this current journey?
So in this current journey, I haven't configured it this way, and journey in the midway, you cannot change it at settings.
Okay.
But let me just try and create something for you, and hopefully,
Mhm.
if I do get enough time, I'll try and get it ready for you tomorrow. I'll just show you how it will look like.
Sure.
But it's already 5 past 11 over here. So let's do one thing. The journey is anyways running. I'll leave it to run stage, and Jignesh might get an email. I'm also expecting an email in some time. So hopefully, ask Jignesh to open that email. Okay, and I won't. So we'll see. I should follow this path. Okay, and Jignesh will follow this path. Okay.
Actually, it's Jinai.
Jinay, I'm sorry. My bad. Hey guys, at least show your face, guys. मैंने तो तुम लोग को देखा भी नहीं है. So at least it's easier for me to actually relate to people I'm talking, because Marvel, a lot of times he speaks. So I'm actually, and Chandni, because she's the only female in the group. So that's why I can actually relate to them.
Pankaj, I have a
Mm-hmm.
question basically. And what is the difference if we create a version in journey, or else if we create a new journey for the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
So what will be
Mm-hmm.
good for that for the, basically
So
for a
it's
for,
okay. So
if
it's
we
all
create a new
about.
journey, we create a new version for the same journey.
So see, new version, as the name suggests, a new version is small changes that you want to make and do it. So it will be, so everything is copied and ready for you. So if you create version 4 from this, if you can see version 4, everything is ready for you. Just make small enhancement change, for example, 1 minute, 2 minute over here, or email 2 to email 1 over here, and then reuse it. But if you altogether everything changes, then it's better for you to actually uh, create a new journey. So versioning is basically, if you're changing some small things, testing a couple of things, keep on creating versions because it's faster. And new journeys, if a lot of things change, the whole framework has changed, then probably you can use that new journey.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, have a nice
Right.
day, bye bye.